The following KQED production was produced in high definition.
The beef torta was out of this world.
I actually don't discriminate against pizza.
This is a temple to red meat.
Or like a meatball. We couldn't see it and we couldn't hear it.
Whoa, I'm actually in San Francisco.
This is amazing. Oh, bring me more.
Hi, I'm Leslie Sabraco. Welcome to Check Please Bay Area, the show where regular Bay Area residents review and talk about their favorite restaurants. Now we have 3 guests, and each one recommends one of their favorite spots, and the other 2 go check them out to see what they think. This week, healthcare consultant Nancy McGee takes care of her well-being with a healthy dose of her favorite sandwich. The temperature of the filling contrasting with the fixins makes it the perfect medicine for any day. And winemaker Jamie Kutch bottles up enthusiasm for a Vietnamese place where Rieslings rule. It's modern and hip with great views of the bay, and he says that every dinner there is a Grand Cru. But first, marketing director Carrie defines dining as an experience. It's not just about the food. The event should begin the moment you walk through the door. And it does at her place. It's the finest dining experience of her lifetime. Located in Le Mars Hotel in Healdsburg, it's called Cyrus.
This restaurant is Doug and I's dream restaurant. Wonderful service, a fine ambiance, absolutely terrific food, and all these things melded together seamlessly. I've always felt that when you come to a restaurant, the most wonderful occasions are cathartic, that you come and you have an experience that is greater than just the food at the table.
One thing that was really important to me was that we started the experience for the guests in a manner that would kind of explain to them what was going to come to them. It was also kind of a surprise. So when they sit down, they're greeted with 5 canapes, and they're a combination of the 5 flavors that are recognized in your mouth: salt, sour, bitter, umami, and sweet. And it kind of gives them a preview of the flavors that are coming. I like to kind of surprise people a little bit and hit little hidden elements that when you get the dish, it's not necessarily certain that it's there, but you'll enjoy it, you'll be surprised. So in the foie gras taster, for instance, we have a quail egg that's hidden underneath a piece of foie gras.
Similar to a sorbet.
To me, a critical element of food is that every bite should kind of remind you of what you're eating. It should keep your palate awake. When you're done with it, you actually hope there's a little bit more.
All right, Carrie, wow, I mean, the finest dining experience of your lifetime. I mean, that's Cyrus.
I have to say it is, and I like to eat well. My boyfriend and I dine out often, and we've been to some of the finest restaurants, not just in the Bay Area, but in the world. Mm-hmm. And I have to say that Cyrus blew doors. We were recently in New York, and we went to some of the hot spots, thinking that, all right, we're in New York. These are places people have told us to visit.
That's right. They've got to be better than what
They've got to
you're doing,
be big stuff. And we walked out of there thinking, all right, we live in San Francisco. It's considered a smaller town, maybe not as hip as New York, but I got to say, we have it going on in the food department because our restaurants are amazing.
I have to interject here for a second because I'm a New Yorker. I've lived in Manhattan for 12 years. So
and just moved out recently, not too far away.
Cyrus blew my top.
Yes.
It was amazing.
But Cyrus is a 2-star Michelin. I mean, it is an experience.
Oh,
it is
an experience.
Tell me your experience at Cyrus. Was it
well, it was very fun.
You had a 4-course menu?
We did a 4-course. We did paired wines. We started with a cocktail. So we started in the bar area, which is very beautiful.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
Mm-hmm. And Michael really likes Manhattans. And really, there's, a Manhattan is such a perfect drink.
Yeah.
And the server recommended their very special bourbon, which they infuse with a lot of different things. I couldn't tell you what.
Orange and vanilla.
Right. And
Wow.
so
You got it down.
Michael tried that, and he felt, and I tried it as well because we share everything, which is great.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a little overdone. Like a Manhattan is good, you don't need to infuse it. So I was a little bit disappointed with the cocktail.
Because they do pride themselves on the cocktails. I see over there. Jamie, did you have a cocktail at the bar?
I didn't do the cocktail, but unlike you, I found the culmination of flavors to be like a standing ovation for my palate.
Yeah.
So I couldn't agree more. I had the fortune of just this weekend tasting foods by the hands of several of the great chefs of the United States. And Cyrus was just right at the top at playing with all of those players.
Right. Yeah. And what did you have?
I started with frogois. I had the gnocchi with escargot, which was stunning. If you think about the size of a gnocchi, homemade gnocchi, small, and the texture. And then escargot, which I would pair them, I've had them many a time separate, but put them together. Think about the textures. They're incredibly similar. What a balanced dish. And then duck three ways, which I'm a huge duck fan. Every time I see it on a dish, I order it. I've had it at 2 other restaurants, great restaurants of California, and I thought Cyrus just took the gold medal.
Took the gold medal. And when you go, I mean, there's a caviar cart. You can start out with caviar and champagne even before you get to the 4 or 5 or
which we did.
You did.
We did.
Okay.
Yes.
So the caviar cart comes by, and you can see the dollars ticking up on the list as you go.
Oh, yeah.
But you had the caviar.
Well, by the time you get to the caviar cart, if you've had 1 or 2 cocktails beforehand, you don't even think dollars. You just think yes.
And you can even sit at the bar. They have a bar menu.
Yes.
So if you want to just be comfortable, go sit at the bar.
I have several friends who have been telling me, saying for the last 2 years, winemaking friends, hey, you got to go to the bar. You can pop a bottle.
That's right.
They'll let you open it for $30, have an appetizer, and you just
really soak in the atmosphere of it.
And their wine list is great.
Jim Ralston, who's the sommelier, has put together an amazing wine list.
A little young, but with the tasting menu, you can pair, and they bring out some exquisite wines.
Did either of you guys do the wine pairing?
Yes, we did the wine pairing. But what I found really, it has a fun atmosphere there. So in the 44-page menu of cocktails and bourbons and everything you could possibly think of, at the back are the beers.
Right.
And they have very, select beers, but then they have Pabst Blue Ribbon. So I said, hey, how many of these do you guys sell? And they said a ton, because the locals come in, they come to the bar, have a nice dinner, and it's just kind of fun to have a beer. So it was kind of a fun atmosphere, which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
But my favorite dish, bar none, at Cyrus was the lobster, which was on a bed of basil, cilantro, and mint. And it was just a very delicate, interesting taste paired with a great wine.
And the wine pairing, you can actually order a wine pairing menu, and the sommelier will select wines to go with your meal. Each one of your courses.
It comes like art. I mean, you're looking at the plate, and it's like between everything, the aesthetics, the presentation, the 2 servers. I got the frogois, and he's pouring the hot liquid. It's fire, and then they're putting the pineapple to put out the fire, and then the balance of how everything is laid symmetrically. And
it's like a mini vacation. When I walk through those doors, I relax right away, and the entire time I'm there, I'm just loving every moment of it.
Did you have any amazing desserts in your experiences there?
Oh my gosh, what isn't amazing? The best thing really is just, you're not just getting the dessert that you've ordered, but it's all those little surprises that come with it.
They bring lots of amuse-bouches.
Gosh, so we had the cardamom ice cream, which was to die for. We had a warm chocolate tart, which was amazing. We had a warm souffle with an anglaise sauce that they normally take back with them when they leave you. And my boyfriend said, no, can we keep that? And nothing phases them. They're so accommodating. They just wiped it off and they gave it right back.
Our service was really great, particularly because we each ordered 4 different things, and we said that we were going to share, so we were going to switch dishes, which is hard to do with paired wines, with dishes, knowing that you're going to switch and then you might mess up your palate. So we felt that they ordered things in a very, in the best way possible to make that kind of transition of flavors very powerful. So I thought the service was really quite good. That's very hard to do.
It's true. They don't hover your table, but when you turn, they're like they're on, they're there.
You never feel like they're just waiting for you to finish so they can take your plate away.
And get the next
none of that.
level of service
all the time in the world. And they're there when you need them and not when you don't.
All right, Carrie, this is your restaurant, so give us a quick wrap-up of Cyrus.
Flawlessly prepared food, attentive wait staff, and an experience that you're not going to forget.
And Nancy?
I'd say romantic weekend. It's a perfect spot.
And Jamie?
Great. My palate was doing a standing ovation. Seriously, I mean, it just nonstop. Bravo! It was. If you haven't been, you haven't experienced it. You haven't experienced life. Yeah, it's great.
If you would like to try Cyrus, it's in the Hotel Les Mars in Healdsburg. The telephone number is 707-433-3311. It's open for dinner every day. Reservations are recommended, and the average tab per person without drinks is around $120. Submarine sandwiches aren't for the faint of heart. They're easy to find, quick, and filling, but not always great. That's not the case at Nancy's Pick, where she says you can find the best. With Mom working the kitchen while her sons complete the team, you won't miss this family-owned store on Irving Street in San Francisco. It's called the Yellow Submarine.
Well, we acquired the Yellow Submarine back in 1975, and we've been running this place as a family-owned business for all that time in the same location, using the same menu and same methods that we have been for the last 33 years. The Italian combo, the pepper steak, the chicken, the meatball, all those are really classic Yellow Sub sandwiches. As a matter of fact, we have one of our original menus still hanging as artwork here in the dining room. We get fresh cut steak. We hand trim it. Every week I go out and pick up 300 pounds of whole potatoes. We clean them, we slice them, and we serve fresh potatoes. We have a lot of repeat customers here at the Yellow Submarine. People have been coming in, moving out of the neighborhood, out of the state, but whenever they come back to visit, they always make sure to come to the Yellow Submarine and tell us that they're back and they miss our sandwiches, and that they're happy to see that nothing has changed. People grew up on our food and they still keep coming back.
All right, Nancy. It was named for the Beatles song, actually. It's more than 25 years old, this restaurant, isn't it?
Right, that's right. And so now, table, we're going to have to flick our switch because we're going from Cyrus to Yellow Submarine.
Sure.
Okay, and so Yellow Submarine, to me, it's just this fantastic neighborhood spot down the hill from UCSF. It's constantly packed. And I went in there maybe 10 years ago just because I was curious because there was a line coming out the door. So I'm always curious about the hole in the wall with the line coming out the door. So I went in and there was this little tiny lady behind the counter. Not a super friendly lady, but a little kind of cute older lady. And she said, "Hey honey, what do you want?" And I said, "I want a steak sandwich with the works." And she said, "Do you want homemade hot sauce?" I love hot sauce. So I said, "Yeah, you know, load it on." So what she does is she cuts the bread open, puts cheese on it, and bakes it in this oven. So this is not a Quiznos. This is not Quiznos.
Maybe they copied her. We know
I
that.
think they copied her. Okay, and so she's got it in the oven, and it's not on a timer. It's not on a conveyor belt. She's cooking it, and then they grill up the steak, onions, all sorts of stuff. And really, the sandwich is just this excellent combo of very toasted bread, delicious cheese, grilled meat and vegetables, and then the cold stuff, so lettuce, all that kind of stuff, and homemade hot sauce. They're on my cell phone, and when I call, they're like, "Oh, hey, your medium steak with homemade hot sauce." They know my voice.
That's impressive.
And so I go in, I pick it up, and I leave. I rarely stay there. On occasion I do. It's not a real place to kind of hang out. You could go to the park and probably have a nicer time.
But this is something you crave,
But it's
right?
something that when I come home, if I want like 1,000,000 calories and to just kind of hang out and drink a beer,
Sure.
it's
That's what you get.
$5.85, and you've got this
Now, if you're-
sandwich that's
Fabulous
bigger than
thing,
your
yeah.
head.
I don't want to be portrayed as that snotty New Yorker, but I will say this: the sandwich was good, but it didn't take me to over the top. You know, on a scale of 1 to 10,
Did
I
you
would.
have the homemade hot sauce? What
I
sandwich
did
you
have
have?
the homemade. I had the steak.
You did.
I did do the steak.
Oh, you have to. Maybe
I
you
didn't
kind
do
of
the
have
steak.
to know.
No one told me about the
All
steak.
right, so we're telling people they have to have the steak and the
Gotta
hot sauce.
have the
This is-
hot sauce.
But
what
I
did you
did the steak. Okay, go
What
ahead.
did you
No.
have here?
No, I hate to interrupt, but I had the Italian combo because I love when they blend all those salamis and the pepperoncinis and they make it spicy because I like spicy. They didn't offer me a homemade hot sauce, but maybe because it doesn't complement
Did the
salami.
You know what? I did the Italian hero too. So I did both. I swear.
What do you think of the Italian hero?
The Italian hero was a total miss for me.
Me too.
You know, when you get a sandwich and it's less than a quarter of an inch, and you know what? I'll knock it more.
That's odd.
They don't take out the meat and cut it like an Italian hero, you know, like they would do.
Yeah.
The meat was already in the fridge. They took it out. They weighed it. It was very clean, and then you know I was disappointed in the sandwich, so I ate the meat on its own, and it just didn't taste of high quality.
It sounds like an off day, because the steak sandwich is
Yeah, because
awesome.
that didn't happen to me, and I went with my boyfriend who got the Italian sausage sandwich.
How was that?
And see, now he had some other favorite stuck in his head that he was thinking this was going to be like of an Italian sauce. And so you can't go in doing that.
Right.
So he didn't love it, and he ended up eating most of mine, which he did like quite a bit.
Yeah.
I brought a bunch of friends and I said, nobody can get the steak sandwich. I'm going to try all this other stuff.
Oh, you took a bite
So
of
I took a bite of the meatball, I took a bite of the veal piccata, and I thought those were really good.
Right.
So I don't know, maybe it's hit or miss.
Yeah.
Well, and then too, it could just be like that's your favorite. Like I wouldn't even consider going to a Subway or a Quiznos. This place rocked. I mean, over those, absolutely. And the price was definitely right. And we got the home cut fries, which I will say.
Oh boy.
Totally
look out.
different.
How do you find a potato that is the size to make French fries that big? I mean, they were huge. It was like I called it a T-Rex
And
French
they fry
fry.
them right there when you order them.
And the hospital's right up the street, so when you have your coronary,
Then
you're
right
right
up
there.
the hill.
Yeah, you're off to the races.
Yeah, that's right.
So I like that it's a neighborhood place that's been there a long time. So for me to come home to San Francisco after being in New York or Baltimore or wherever,
it's
just it's nice to come home and see like a mom and her sons, and it's just
And it has been around a long time.
Yeah, it's like a
definitely
family
been
place.
around for more than 2 decades.
I tried to talk to one of the ladies. I think as I was walking out, I said, "Thank you so much. It was a delightful meal," or something, just to sort of give a little something. And I got no turnaround, nothing. I was wondering if she didn't hear.
No.
But they did.
But he
and
did
even,
say he's from New York. Come on.
even ordering, I got the real attitude toward a sort of weird, you know. Although I will say is that it was extremely clean. So when there's someone that uses a grill and they take meats and they have, and you know, I'm eating at that type of an establishment, I like the fact that it's clean. And because I looked, I took a good look,
me too.
and I noticed that, and that's important to me.
All right, this is your restaurant, so we should wrap this up.
Okay, I would say the best sub sandwich in San Francisco, period.
Nice.
Wow, tall order. Oh, man.
Jamie, Yellow Submarine.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give it a 4. You know, and I hate to sort of knock it that hard.
Smack you.
I'm gonna have to separate you two.
Yeah, we might have
to. You know, there's another deli in my neighborhood that it's more of a culmination for me, and the Submarine just didn't deliver the yellowness to me.
Nice.
Okay, Carrie.
You know, I feel like if you're ready to tuck into an enormous sandwich and you just want to be in a coma the rest of the day, do it. Yeah.
All right, if you would like to be in a coma, you can try the Yellow Submarine on Irving at 6th Avenue in San Francisco. The telephone number is 415-681-5652. It's open every day from 11 a.m. until 8:30 p.m. and from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. on Sunday. Reservations are not accepted, and the average tab per person without drinks is under $10. Cool, trendy, and busy, Jamie's Pick is a hotspot for delicious Vietnamese cuisine with a California twist, served up in elegant surroundings with beautiful views. Anchored in the Ferry Building in San Francisco, it's called the Slanted Door.
Although I worked in a restaurant a long time, but it was like my first venture. I only had $20,000 to my name, and it wasn't a lot of money. One night, going up to Ticus to have dinner and saw the For Lease sign on Valencia Street. So I got the space. I talked my brother, Michael, quitting his job, and I talked to my aunt, and they thought I was crazy, you know, to start this business. And now 13 years later, we have 22 family members, blood relative working, and we bounced around a few times, and here we are. I have few idea about the food, but I really was interested in the whole package of the service, the ambient. The space was really the driving force because it was tall and it was loft-like. It didn't bother me that I never cooked before. But Chez Panisse really gave me the confidence of having a restaurant with 6 items. Most Chinese restaurants would have 100 items. Since I didn't know how to cook, 6 items I can manage, you know. That's how the food got started. But it's always with the intention to bring a piece of Vietnam to you, telling you the Vietnamese story. It's like a Broadway play. Every day a curtain goes up, you don't get paid for what you did yesterday, you get paid for what you did today.
Jamie, you've been to the Slanted Door quite often since you moved out from New York.
More than any other restaurant in the city.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Why do you like it so much?
You know, when I walk in the door, it feels like I'm walking into Manhattan, you know, and I said earlier, I'm a former Manhattanite and lived there for 10 years, and it just, there's a great scene and a great energy which I find lackluster in a lot of other restaurants. And there's this culmination of like this good feeling when you walk in. The bar is really long.
Very open and airy place.
Yes,
yeah.
It's beautiful. There's huge windows all around. You look out at the Bay Bridge. I find the view to be stunning. The bar, the drinks are incredible. So there's a guy, I usually get drinks from this guy, Eric. He's got a shaved head and he makes these rock star drinks, and he knows about liqueurs from the from the 40s and 30s and real stunning. So sitting down at the table, great table, comfortable chairs, great attentive staff. They're about as eclectic as the food.
I thought the cocktails were fantastic. Our first dish, though, were imperial rolls, which were delicious. Now, I was dining again with friends and had a friend from Vietnam there.
Sure. And
I just picked up an imperial roll, dipped it in the sauce, and ate it. She was like, "No, there's this other stuff on the plate. There's a lettuce and there's like
mint.
Yeah, and you need to wrap it up and do it. See, I wouldn't have known to do that.
How was it when you put it in your mouth?
It was great.
Yeah, well,
it's great. Now, Carrie's got to jump in here because you're not quiet. I know you.
Yeah. Well, no, I'll say this. We tried to get a reservation on Open Table and couldn't. And I thought,
it's popular.
It's very busy. How am I going to get in there, right? So we showed up. It was a Friday night. It was very busy. We walked in, and like you said, the energy was amazing. Right. I mean, that was something that just felt so good about that place. Despite its magnitude, it had an awesome energy, which is hard to find. And from the moment we sat down, our food server was telling us about this great sounding cocktail called The Last Word. And we ordered them, and then we ordered them again, and they were terrific.
Wow,
our cocktails were really good, and our server was on it.
The servers are great.
She was Egyptian, and she, paired wines with the dish.
And let's talk a little bit about the wine list, because they're known for having great Rieslings, which is really ideal with this kind of cuisine.
Sure.
Great Gewürztraminers, a
they
lovely
take it
wine
seriously.
list.
They really do.
You're not only talking about a great sommelier, whoever's picking the wines of German Rieslings and Gewürz and Gruners, which pair so well with that
Gruner
spicy
Veltliner
food.
from Austria.
But then you have the servers who all know the food, and they know what dishes to pair with and where there's value. And you're not spending huge amounts of money on a bottle of wine.
I agree with you completely.
$30 can get you a great Riesling, and it cuts through the acidity, cuts right through that food. It's so brilliant.
That spicy food. Yeah. And what other dishes did you have, Carrie?
My boyfriend loves carpaccio, and the food server said, well, our carpaccio is fantastic. So we got that.
How was that?
It was the best thing I've ever tasted in my life. The peanuts and the lime and this rau rum sauce that they added was really the best I've ever had.
Did either of you order the green papaya salad?
Yes.
No.
Oh.
But you know what? I've been to a lot of Vietnamese places because I really like it.
Right.
I thought that was kind of not as good as it should be.
Wow,
I think that maybe from day to day it can vary, but what I thought was really great was clay pot catfish. Now, I had heard about the clay pot chicken.
That's right. Was it amazing?
And it has an amazing sauce, but with the catfish, which is a really kind of interesting fish with an interesting texture, it really drank in that sauce and was fantastic.
Nice. Yes. And did you guys have the cellophane noodles with the Dungeness?
I love it.
No, we had the blue nose bass, which had a really crispy top or skin to it, and the meat was just very, very good. Now, I'll tell you something that I really hated. The bathroom is a unisex bathroom. So there's like a sink that's a trough, and so you're hanging out with the guys,
Yeah, but
Trying
see,
to
I
put
like
on your
that.
lipstick or do your hair. I don't like it.
Yeah. You know, to me, a new or a cutting-edge bathroom represents something about the restaurant, and I find Slanted Door to be cutting-edge and sophisticated.
Now, I was with 3 women, and all of them said,
"Oh, wow,
don't like it."
Don't
and the
go to the
guys
sex
were
bathroom.
like, "No, I thought it was great."
Yeah.
So you know, it's up. You know, I mean, I thought the food was great. I think it's great for a business dinner. I don't think it's great for an intimate dinner, because, like we said, the energy is very high, so it makes it hard to have an intimate conversation.
It's definitely not intimate. If you want, when the meal is done, you can walk all the way down the Ferry Plaza walkway and see the bridge, which is beautiful, and I've done it, trust me.
All right, Jamie, this is your restaurant. Give us a quick summary.
You know, maybe the one word I could say to summarize is perfection in every way. Price, food, feel. I'm a huge fan.
All right, Nancy?
I'd say great food, but just say no to the unisex.
Okay, and Carrie?
Really enjoyed the experience. Great food. Just to warn folks, it is probably a little more than you'd spend at another Vietnamese place, but I think it's worth it.
All right, if you would like to try the Slanted Door in the Ferry Building in San Francisco, you can call 415-861-8032. It's open every day for lunch and dinner. Reservations are recommended, and the average tab per person without drinks is around $35. So I want to thank my guests on this week's show, Carrie Scott, Nancy McGee, and Jamie Kutch. Carrie splurged at her place, Cyrus. Nancy would recommend it for a wonderful romantic weekend date. And Jamie thought it was amazing and an experience you have to have at least once. Nancy's favorite place is at the other end of the dining scale, the Yellow Submarine. Jamie was very disappointed with the sandwiches. He just didn't think they compared to those in New York. While Carrie was quite pleased with her visit, it didn't surpass her local spot selections, although she loved the awesome home-cut fries. Finally, Jamie's busy spot of the Slanted Door. For Nancy, it's a party place or somewhere to impress out-of-town clients with great clay pot catfish. Carrie enjoyed the packed restaurant and thought it worth the price tag, with especially informed and accommodating staff. Don't forget, for more discussion, you can visit our website and add your comments. You can view this and all the shows online or download the podcast. And you can learn about the KQED Wine Club wines we've been drinking today. So join us next time when 3 new guests will recommend their favorite spots right here on Check Please Bay Area. I'm Leslie Sirocco, and I'll see you then. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Woohoo!
This show is available in high definition, Comcast On Demand, and via podcast. For additional information on the restaurants featured, to comment, or to apply to be on the show, go to our website at kqed.org/checkplease. A KQED television production.